Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop.
We've talked a little bit about toolboxes, and I have a few. This is actually the latest one that I got, and it's in a way the worst because it hadn't been cleaned up yet. It's still just like I got it. But it has some things that I haven't found in the other ones. For one, it still has the lock in it. Now, I don't have a key, but I certainly can make one. To make a key, I have to take that lock out and find out what it's going to take to make one to match the action of the key. It's very robust. But somebody has treated it poorly. When the toolbox was first made, I imagine it had room for more than one saw in it. Right now the sawtill only has one spot. The back one has room for two, but you can see where it's split out at the very bottom of it. Right down there. So I imagine that there was more than two in here, at least three. You'd have room for a crosscut, a rip saw, and more than likely two sizes of crosscut, one with finer teeth and one with coarser. The tool tills are actually in pretty good shape. These appear to be original. These appear to be original, or at least close to the time that it was made, because the toolbox would have had tills in it. It looks like they painted the inside of the box before they put the tills in it. It has two, one longer than the other. Both of them are reinforced with metal corner brackets. The handle on this end is in pretty good shape. The handle on the other end is broken. Looks like the bail got busted out of it. Now usually the tills would be made to slide completely back and forth. And if it was deep enough, the saws would have been underneath the till. This appears to be more of a carpenter's toolbox than a fancier cabinet maker's box, which would have held a lot more molding, planes, and larger pieces of equipment. This one was designed to be carried back and forth to the job and hold all the tools that a carpenter would need to do his daily work. I don't know what all these little widgets and brackets are for. Whoever made the thing for themselves more than likely didn't have it in there. Somebody got it after that and added those pieces to it. It's a good solid toolbox though, and the hinges aren't broken out of it. That's a big plus. I went to an estate sale yesterday down the street, and I got three items. One of them is this big file. I can't resist a file, and at 50 cents I thought it was a good deal. This was $1.50. It's a device for using a brace and bit to drill holes in hard materials. This is called a chain drill. It's used with a brace to drill holes into steel. You put the square shank into the brace, you put the square shank bit into the socket here, you wrap the chain around the part that's going to be drilled, You engage the chain into that notch there, and then you advance this screw into this nut. That draws the chain tight and drives the drill bit into the material as you're cranking the brakes. Now some of these are automatic. This one is a manual. You have to crank it by hand as you go. I need to take the rust off the threaded part here because it's so rusty that the nut won't move. So rather than putting this in acid, I'm going to put it in the electrolysis tank. If you put a threaded part into acid, just like sharpening a file, the acid eats both sides of the tooth on the file, makes the tooth thinner and sharper. It does the same things to the thread, and it acts more rapidly on the thread than it does flat surfaces because there's more surface area to contact with. When that happens, it takes the thread down to the point where it's sloppy in the nut and it no longer works. I screwed up a really nice saw set. I have to go through and replace the thread on it. Fortunately, it's a thread that can be replaced. On this, if I screw up that thread, the whole thing is junk. So I'm going to put this in the electrolysis tank, which doesn't have that defect. I'm going to save this file because I have an idea that I want to go through and try the different methods of sharpening a file. I like to use sulfuric acid. I've had people ask me about toilet bowl cleaner. That's muriatic acid. I'm not in favor of toilet bowl cleaner for cleaning files because it can cause hydrogen embrittlement. But if I take an old junk file, put it in some muriatic acid, see what happens, see if it actually does break. I'm going to set up a vinegar bath, I'm going to set up a sulfuric acid bath, and a toilet bowl cleaner bath. That's 3 common things that you can find. Sulfuric acid, battery acid, you get that at the auto parts store. Muriatic acid or toilet bowl cleaner, obviously you get that at the grocery store. And vinegar, same place, grocery store. Those 3 kinds of file sharpening methods, if I do them all at the same time on 3 parts, perhaps we can set that to rest and say, okay, this is the definitive answer. Maybe, maybe not. Time will tell.